So today, our story starts with our main character Takafumi. He crosses the street and almost gets hit by a truck, which, I wish that were me. He then narrates how his uncle was in a coma after getting hit by a car when he was 17 years old but is now awake. His now 34-year-old uncle, who he simply calls O, has gone bonkers after waking up. If I was gone for 17 years in a coma, I think I would be pretty crazy too. So honestly, that's on him. He starts speaking in what sounds like gibberish, and he claims to have been in some other world during the time he was in a coma, and he says that he can do magic. Okay, yeah, sure, okay, the old man, let's get you to bed. I know you used to have rule empires or whatever, but like just take your medicine and go to bed. However, Takafumi finds out that his uncle is telling the truth once he speaks a spell in Japanese. Of course, because this is anime. Like, what are you expecting? He summons a small wind to lift a water bottle in a cup before placing them back down, and he starts excitedly asking his uncle about the magic. But Ojisan has other priorities like the Great Console War. Oh my god, sorry, buddy, Audrey, if you know Sika is winning, and Takafumi has to explain that they just don't make consoles nowadays, and his uncle is absolutely devastated and starts muttering a spell that erases his memory. Takafumi is rightfully confused because the really old man, you've been hit by the truck, you've probably stared at right in the face multiple times in another world, and this is what breaks you up. Takafumi's uncle then gives him the notebook where he notes down relevant information that he gets, which he used earlier to write down that their families upset at each other over Ojisan. Takafumi reads it and, oh boy, it is one hell of a roller coaster, and it's enough for him to ask his son to erase his memories. Do I want to know what was in there? Or, look, never mind. A week later, Ojisan gets discharged, and Takafumi did what anyone with a magic user uncle would do, which is, of course, to upload videos to YouTube and just monetize the hell out of it. Ojisan soon asks Takafumi why he's staying in a big apartment, and Takafumi explains that he used to have a roommate. Ojisan thinks that his nephew had been a naughty boy, but Takafumi says that it's something called the room to share, which Ojisan doesn't really know about it because of his coma. But I feel like the concept of roommates isn't particularly okay, you know what, whatever, it's fine. He also gets amazed at how Takafumi could easily search up things on the internet, and how he could recruit other people to just stay with him. Honestly, I haven't tried those things myself, but it does sound pretty futuristic, so I'm with Og on this one. This makes Takafumi ask about Ojisan's friends from the other world, because maybe he was a cool guy who became the hero of the world, like a typical Isekai story show sort of thing. But that's not really the case, because he was hunted by the locals because they thought he was an orc because he looked really different from them. He also mentions that this girl that he saved constantly bullied him for looking like an orc, so he dropped her off in the nearby city. No romance there, no. Takafumi then thinks that the girl may be a Tinder, and that Ojisan just didn't know again because of the coma. But is that really too far off, though? Is that really too far off where Sandra is invented in the year 2000, like when is the set? Ojisan is still adjusting to the new technology as he reads the comments on his YouTube videos and wishes for some old Nokia phone instead of a regular smartphone. I guess he also remembers that he invented something back in the other world, and Takafumi kind of thinks that this may be his uncle's redemption arc, and that maybe this time the locals have, warmed up to him or something. The locals try to execute him because what he did was against their religion. They burned down his home and broke his invention, which was a vase for the drought, and then the Centauro arrived and tried to convince the townspeople to let him go. Do I smell like possible romance? Maybe, I don't know, maybe she's just slow to warm up. Yes, Osan simply used a spell to break free and just starts running away, talking from me. Gets to see what the girl looks like and thinks she's cute. Please don't let this be a love triangle. A notification then pops up on their laptop saying that the auction for the phone that Ojisan wants is ending soon, so he hardly makes a bid and wins. They then find out that the shipping fee is very expensive, but Takafumi says that they will need to pay that if they claim the item in person. He watches Ojisan seemingly cast down at the expensive, walks to the balcony and just jumps over. Oh no, he's fine, it's all good. Apparently he can fly. What a weird old man. Ojisan comes back after 30 minutes and the pair discovers the wonderful loophole of free shipping. Takafumi also orders a box of rice that gets shipped to their apartment. He asks for a knife and his uncle gives him a large dagger with a cool hilt, which seems kind of overkill for a box of rice, but like you do I guess. Ojisan shows him that he can summon items from the other world through a dimensional storage spell, showing him a sword and some other precious metals, which aren't really that precious in the modern world, but you know it's fine. You can always sell something for a change. You know he was then saved by the timely girl who says that Ojisan is now indebted to her. Ojisan, not realizing that Cinder is attracted and absolutely just all over him, gives him the ring in a way that seemed like a marriage proposal. Takafumi is once again completely dumbfounded, which I am as well, but he defights once again when he sees that Ojisan didn't really like the girl back, as he just redeemed the ring and gave her the cash. Ouch. But she was not at all deterred by this, and just continues to follow him around. After showing Takafumi the memory, Ojisan opens his dimensional storage once again and puts it in. They then realized that they could make it looks like he was being stabbed without getting hurt, so Takafumi just made a new YouTube video, and it went insanely viral. Alright, episode 2, Ojisan and Takafumi's channel views start to go down, and Ojisan says that they should stop ordering at auctions for a while. He then shows off his recent purchase, which is the last Sega Genesis magazine of game rankings. He then goes absolutely wild once he sees that his favorite game, Guardian Heroes, were at number 1, and honestly I don't blame him. Takafumi tries to console him by saying that an RPG on his favorite console came second, though Ojisan says that RPGs still confuse him. I'm pretty sure RPGs have been around for more than 17 years, so I'm just gonna assume this was set like in the 2010s or something. He then shows Takafumi a memory when he had some sort of RPG-like quest. He had to defeat a dragon but must first get an ice sword that was kept by a descendant of the Ice Clan that isolated herself from the world, named Mabel. In typical Ojisan fashion, he was having none of that romantic side plot and instead went immediately to the dragon's lair and beat it without the freezing sword, which that's a Chad move. Good job, buddy. A package suddenly arrives and Takafumi realizes that it's a Sega Genesis bundle that he bought for Ojisan's birthday. He then starts to feel bad about buying the pack, as his uncle just told him to save up money because of their lower YouTube revenue. Takafumi then decides to give it then and there, though gets absolutely terrified at Ojisan's expression, which he can't figure out exactly what he was feeling, because it could either be just sheer unadulterated anger or just pure happiness. Takafumi also shows him a copy of a Guardian Heroes that he bought, and Ojisan starts to grin before inviting him to play later on. Ojisan tells him about how the other world celebrated the New Year, which was a massive feast. Though other people celebrated, he ate alone and immediately went back to his room. After Takafumi aggressively asks if the Thunder Girl was there, but Ojisan just denies it entirely. During another round of gaming, Ojisan casually mentions that Mabel went to his room later on, and Takafumi, thinking that his uncle was finally gonna be a stud for once in his life, just asks for a little more detail, just out of curiosity. To his utter disappointment, Takafumi finds out that Mabel was simply asking for advice to get stronger. Ojisan then tells her to live her life as she would want to, which caused her to have this life-changing reflection that pushed her to continue on being an introvert forever. She also tried to give him the sword, but Ojisan declined because it was way too cold to handle, and honestly I'm with that I already have cold hands, I don't need it to be extra cold. The pair then celebrated the new year with noodles, as Takafumi told Ojisan about more changes in the modern world, specifically about TV. In the next month, Takafumi meets up with a childhood friend of his named Fujimiya. Fujimiya was quickly walking away after being creeped out by Ojisan, who was talking to the wind. I don't know, he's a weird old man. Takafumi then invites her to drop by his place and gives her the address. Fujimiya arrives and enters the apartment, though seemingly it's empty. Ojisan arrives by flying onto the balcony while her back is turned, and he thinks that she's an intruder, so he leaps forward and starts a spell to erase her memory before Takafumi arrives and just calmly explains the situation. Calmly, once everything is settled down, Fujimiya airs out her concerns that Ojisan is a burden for Takafumi. I mean, you can't really blame her when this old man talks to thin air, which he claims is to boost his magical skills or something, but we will simply just ignore that and say he's crazy. Ojisan also says he's actually watched a famous anime featuring a Saneer character, which sets Takafumi into a dramatic realization that his uncle probably understands this concept. So I was right. Okay, gotcha. Man, I love stuff that's set in modern day that just acknowledges that it's Modern-day Ojisan also realizes that Fujimiya likes Takafumi a little more than she's letting on. He even goes as far to use a spell to read her thoughts about being massively disappointed that she and Takafumi were going to be alone, and notices that she freshened up before going there. Fujimiya tries to convince Takafumi to move out with her, though he just turns it down because he didn't want to leave his uncle. Yeah, that's right, Takafumi brothers before hoes, but she doesn't seem like a hoe, she seems relatively nice. She then glares at Ojisan while he collects a ship package of rice, because apparently going to the convenience store is too hard in this universe. So in the third episode, Takafumi and Ojisan must up their YouTube game as the platform has set new conditions to earn revenue, because this is the most realistically YouTube thing they could ever do. Takafumi gets confused because they have a really high view count but not as many subscribers. He then finds out that Ojisan doesn't really reply very well to comments, which turns people off for coming back or just subscribing in general, so that's really helpful. Ojisan then tells him of when he protected a city when its barrier broke down and the swarm of monsters arrived. The barrier was apparently broken by Ojisan himself out of sheer curiosity. When the Tsundere had told him about the barrier's history, the monsters march for the city and the seminary girl prepares to fight. She's got this cool showing off sequence which really isn't necessary at all, but it's fine because Ojisan immediately asks the spirits to just fix the barrier, because that is exactly how it works. The locals then start to look for whoever broke the barrier, and Ojisan is surprised that the Tsundere doesn't actually rat him out. She then says he should treat her to dinner in exchange for her secrecy, and Ojisan immediately skedaddles, thinking that she was going to extort him. The story then inspires Ojisan to just ask his watchers to subscribe to his channel, and it works despite Takafumi's doubt. Fujimiya crashes into the apartment again and starts being very passive-aggressive about Ojisan staying with Takafumi. Ojisan then proposes that Fujimiya just stay in the apartment too, as he's just getting all the signs that she just has a massive crush on Takafumi. Tacos only then leaves because there's a sale for sugarless jam, which I know being health conscious is important, but isn't jam much better when it's sweet? Maybe that's just me. Once Takafumi leaves, Ojisan tries to have Fujimiya spill more about her crush and Takafumi, but she absolutely refuses, which I don't blame her for. So Ojisan hides away and changes his look to resemble the tsundere girl. He introduces himself as Takafumi's and and tries to ask about her feelings for Takafumi before his nephew arrives back home. Takafumi immediately gets the hint that Ojisan is just in disguise, so he drags him over to record a gaming video under the disguise. Oh boy. After uploading the video, Ojisan uses a spell to show Takafumi's memories with Fujimiya, though she looks like a filthy brat, as Lisa puts it. The views of their recent videos start kicking in, though Ojisan gets confused that the video is only of his face and not the game. Takafumi celebrates the video going viral, knowing full well that people will want to see the cute VTubers instead of Edison's real face. Ojisan gets super upset and transforms back. All the while, Takafumi continues cheering and Fujimiya is terrified. That's alright, Oji-san, at least you get that sweet revenue so that you can have that deluxe sushi sashimi Kaneji rice bowl. It's time to stop. This TTS demo is for testing and evaluation purposes only. Any unauthorized commercial use is prohibited. Never mind, the short answer is he has a lot of money, and good for him. And the episode ends there, so thanks for joining me on another recap, and I'll see you in the next one. Please, have a good one.